little different feel to this week, and that you're game planning for a team that you've gone into supposed in-season mode, so to speak, where your setup's a little different.
It's been great. It's been great. It gives you a chance to get a feel for just how organized everything's going to be for the in-season stuff. I've never done it this way before, having a full-on game plan week for a game. But it just gives you a chance to get your mind, really your body, prepared for what the in-season schedule is going to be once the actual season hits. So it's really cool to get a feel for when meetings are going to be, how practice is going to be, what time in the day is going to be your day to get your workout in, stretch, whatever it may be. So it's just a good chance for everybody to get kind of acclimated with the way the schedule is going to be in the regular season.
Obviously, everybody talks about Ndamukong Suh for Detroit, but what else do they like? What do they like to do on defense? It's going to be a challenge for you.
They rush the passer really well. They rush the passer so well with their front four. They don't have to bring a lot of exotic blitzes and bring guys from all over the place. They're not a team that brings a ton of different pressures. They really allow their front four to rush the passer, and they rely on their front four to rush the passer. So it's a good defense with a very good offense behind it. Their defense is kind of bend don't break style, where they're going to play a lot of zone coverages and sit back and hope their offense puts up a lot of points and try to contain you and not give up big plays on defense.
You making the progress you had hoped for yourself since the beginning, say even since the beginning of OTAs up to now in terms of this offense?
Yeah. You want to get better each week and see as you prepare for practices and as you watch practices afterwards that you're improving on certain things, and there may be a play you messed up on the second day and the fourth practice that now when we come back and we reinstall some of those plays, you cleaned up those decisions that you may have made that were wrong, or your footwork that was wrong, or technique wise. So I feel very confident where I am right now. And really where we are as an offense, especially as banged up as we are. We got a lot of young guys playing, but feel really good where we are right now in training camp.
Do you play a preseason game as you would play a regular season game? What I mean is this: would you take a chance in a preseason game? I want to see what this guy can do. I wouldn't ordinarily make this throw, but I'm going to make it.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's what it's for, really. Unless you're a young guy that hasn't played and just wants to get acclimated to the speed of the game. I've been around long enough that's not something I'm trying to do. There's certain things we'll work on, or certain plays that may be in a game plan for a team that we normally wouldn't put, but we really want to see if this guy can handle it, or we want to see if this guy can run by this guy, or there's a ton of different situations where it comes up where you do things in a regular season game or in a preseason game that you wouldn't normally do in a regular season.
Since this is the third week, would it be different this week, or is it still a preseason game?
It's still a preseason game. We're still trying to figure out, especially with Jacoby being down, DHB banged up, and Denarius, we got a lot of young guys playing. So part of it too is let's see how they handle being starters. Let's see how they handle being in with the ones, playing against the ones. So I know there's going to be a lot on a handful of guys' plates, but it's a good chance to see how they react to the situation.
So you see stuff with the injuries and practice preseason. Any concern at all just the way the offense, especially in the red zone, haven't had a touchdown yet? Is that a concern at all, or is it just okay?
I mean, obviously, it's we haven't done what we expected to do, but it's not a concern. We just need to keep working, keep grinding. They'll come. We just need to clean some things up. We've made a handful of mistakes and hurt ourselves, but it's not concerning. It's frustrating, just because you want to score every time you get the ball, but we'll continue to work and get better.
It seems like you've left some yards and some points on the field. Is that encouraging that you're that close to making those plays?
Yeah, and it's encouraging that we have moved the ball successfully, and we don't feel like we've played our best. We know we haven't played our best. I think that's the main thing is just encouraging to know that we've made a bunch of mistakes and we still moved the ball, but we've been nowhere near where we can be when we're all clicking on the same cylinder, or all clicking on the same page. But it's just a matter of time. We just need to keep working and keep our heads down and just keep playing.
Center is obviously a key part of the line. What do you see from Carson in terms of like line calls and things like that he has a responsibility for?
Yeah, he's done really well for being a young guy. That was probably one of his first couple games. You know, I'm sure it could a little bit in last year's preseason, but you know, when you're in a huddle with a guy that hasn't played much and you don't realize he's in the huddle, that's a good thing on the offensive line. You know, we didn't skip a beat with protection calls. We didn't skip a beat in the run game. Everything was just kind of flowing and easy, and there weren't any mental mistakes as far as that's concerned. And that, you know, like I said, when you're in a huddle with a guy and you notice that he's a rookie or he's a guy that hasn't been in the huddle a bunch, that's concerning, and it's not that way at all with Alex. He's been on top of everything.
You hear about receivers building up the trust with the quarterback. Have these rookies already done that, or are they still a work in progress, or how does that happen?
I think it's always a work in progress. You know, you can never be perfect, and you just continue to work. But I have a ton of trust in those guys. They've made play after play. They're in the right spot at the right time. They're not lining up in different formations with wrong splits or breaking the huddle and running the wrong way out of the huddle, which is a lot of times something that happens with young guys. So I have a ton of trust in them, and we'll just continue to work on it.
What's Streeter's going to get his first start? 13 catches already. You've got some kind of a relationship building up with him.
Yeah, I mean, he's been forced into the starting role, and you know, because of injuries, it doesn't seem like he's earned it just because of the injuries, but he can play with the best of them. I mean, he's everything you want in a young guy, attitude-wise. He studies, he understands the game, he has a very good, coming into camp, he had a very good feel for the game. But that's a competitive spot. I mean, who knows what's going to happen. He's good enough that he can play pretty much any position on the field, and he's probably good enough to maybe start at some point. But it's been exciting to see his development, because he's a guy that has just drastically gotten better and has not been satisfied one bit. He's always on himself about just little things, little mistakes he's made. So it's been very encouraging.
Do you have any thoughts on the learning curve that the linemen have had to climb up with the new blocking scheme? Have you observed anything?
I think it's been great. You know, when you go from one style of run game to another style, especially a zone blocking scheme, you would assume that there's going to be a bunch of mistakes and a bunch of guys in wrong gaps or not covering their gaps. But it's really been pretty seamless, and a lot of that's Coach Pollock. He's so good at it, and he's been doing it for so long. And he is all over the offensive line. And then you got Knapp in their ears in meetings, holding each guy accountable. And you know, a lot of that's the coaching, but a lot of it too is just leaning on guys like Coop, who's been in the system before. Mike Brazel's been in the system before, and those are our two kind of elderly guys that all the young guys have been leaning on.
Does that do it, everybody? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.